Hi, my name is Gavin Henning, ACPA President and Associate Professor of Higher Education here at New England College, where I also direct the Masters of Higher Education program, as well as the Doctorate of Education program. It's a busy day on campus today. It's Friday before commencement, and everything is abuzz. The tents are going up, the chairs are being set up. Students are excited, but they're also really nervous to making sure that all their paperwork is turned in and they can graduate on time. And I've had some conversation with my master's students, and they're really excited for graduation as well. They get to wear their first hood that they as a graduate. They're looking forward to that. But they're also nervous because some of them don't have jobs yet. And they're wondering what their next step is going to be. And so I try to be a really good advisor and provide them some feedback and try to calm them. And one thing I've talked to them about is really my career path. And my first job didn't come the way I expected it to. I thought I was as prepared as possible. I was very intentional. But all my friends had gotten jobs before I had. I applied for a position at the University of New Hampshire as a hall director back in March of 1993, when the typical job search happens. And at that point, they decided not to hire me. So I was really disappointed. Did some other campus interviews, some phone interviews, and nothing ever panned out. Until I got a call in June. Like I said, after everybody had been hired, all my friends had been hired, got a call in June and there was an open position. At the last minute, one of their hall directors decided to take another job. And so they were looking for somebody to fill the position. They invited me to campus, and that was my first professional job. And so I kind of use that example to talk to my students that even though you can be intentional, there's also some serendipity that's involved. And things just happen, things need to fall in the right places, the certain streams need to couple, the stars need to align. And so while things may not be working out the way that I want it to work out right now, just be patient because things may. And when I talk about that, I also talk about how serendipity played into how I even got into this field. It was actually by happenstance. It wasn't intentional at all. I had gone to the movies as a sophomore student at campus at Michigan State University. We had movies in our residence hall lecture halls, and I left the movie and saw a friend from my hometown, Stacy Huffman. We stopped and chatted, talked about what we were going to do that summer, because this was in April of the year. And she said, well, I'm going to be working on campus as an orientation leader. And I said, well, that sounds really cool. She said, you should apply because we have one more position open, and tomorrow we're having open interviews. And so this was about 10 o'clock at night. The interview was at 8 o'clock in the morning, pretty early on a Saturday for a college student. So I said, I'm going to do it. And so I went over there, did the interview, got the job. And that was really the decision that changed the course of my whole life. So I got into orientation as an undergraduate orientation leader, worked as a student director for both the office as well as the staff, became an RA, and then got into higher ed from there. And so I mentioned that because serendipity played a huge part of how I got in the field. But I think we rely too much on serendipity. I think we think that through serendipity, our students are going to learn. That just because we're providing activities, that things are going to happen. All the stars are going to align and they're going to turn out to be greater people. I think that happens sometimes. But I've seen too often in my 21-year career, as well as when I talk with folks on campus, that the serendipity doesn't always work out the way we need it to. And so we really need to be intentional about student learning. And I think that's really what the point I want to get across today is this whole idea about serendipity versus intentionality. I think serendipity is useful, but we really need to be more thoughtful and more intentional regarding what's going to happen with our students and how do we foster student learning. And really it's about being thoughtful and thinking about what we want them to accomplish. What are the skills and knowledge that we're going to be able to, that they're going to be able to take away with them after they interact with us as individuals or our programs and our services? It's not rocket science. It's just being thoughtful and using the knowledge that we have, what we've gained through either our graduate preparation program, through our years of experience, through what we read daily, either in the newspaper, in the Chronicle of Higher Education, the Journal of College Student Development. I don't think we're as intentional as we really could be, and I think we need to do a better job of that. And this is where I really want to kind of talk about, this is where how ACPA can help. because that's what our mission is. Our mission is student learning and development, and how do we foster that? It's really how do we foster those intentional opportunities so students can grow, both intellectually, cognitively, and personally as well. And we have a lot of other resources that can be helpful to you. So I'd encourage you to take a look, spend some time on our website, take a look at the Journal of College Student Development, see what you can pull out from there to use and help intentionally develop your programs and services. Take a look at eCommunity. There's great news in there every week that can be helpful and keep you up to date on what's going on. As professionals, we need to know how the landscape of higher education is changing, and that can help us be more intentional in how we support students. Take a look at About Campus. Fantastic articles in there every couple of months when the issue comes out. Easy to read, 3 to 5 pages. You can do it easily at the beginning of your day. So a lot of great professional development opportunities happening as well. This summer we have the Mid-Level Management Institute, the New Professionals Institute, the Assessment Institute, as well as a conference on college men. All of these are going to help us all be more intentional in the work that we do. And so I hope as you kind of reflect on the end of the year and begin thinking about what to do for the next academic year and begin planning, try to be as intentional as possible and turn to ACPA for the resources that we have available to help you do that. So one great example of how you use some of these resources is really the Journal of College Student Development provides some fantastic literature around theory. And really, I found this is very helpful, particularly around identity development and specifically around a more inclusive perspective on identity development. So I did my grad work in 1991, 92, and the literature around identity development was very different back then. There's very few theories around race, ethnicity, inclusion, and I really needed to update my work so I could be a better both administrator now as a faculty member and teacher. So I turned to JCSD for all the new literature, the new research coming out to help me understand how students are developing so I don't have just this one-size-fits-all perspective that a lot of our older theories had. And so there's always new information that can help us increase our knowledge and be more thoughtful and more intentional in the work that we do. In addition to the other resources ACPA provides, one fantastic one that's easy to access is ACP On Demand. There are a lot of great videos that people can tap into. They're very short, some are a little bit longer, but they're easy to access, provide you some great information on how you can do your job better. There's a fantastic series on racism in higher education that might be worth taking a look at to see how we can have an impact and make a higher education more inclusive.